Softails? Remember the Chrome is King? When this series was first introduced, it had a gold anodized can, and we thought that'd be a great sales tool because it prevented rust, and it was, you know, out of sight, out of mind, and it also had no sales because it wasn't chrome. But because of that, we've since done just that. Chromed the entire unit, added 2 inches of adjustment for height to it, so you don't need an additional lowering kit. It's built in. It has a true progressive rate spring now, and by loosening that center nut and using the spanner wrench that comes with it, you can now adjust the preload as well. And probably, for our perspective, the greatest benefit is what goes on in a damper. This damper is designed specifically for us for a horizontal application, where many other manufacturers may take a damper that functions this way and say, okay, let's just turn it on its side. That doesn't work. I mean, it will, but not quite as well. This one is meant to be operated in a horizontal plane. Good the better. 430 is the better. Perhaps an injustice to it because there are a lot of features and benefits to this that the 412 doesn't offer. First and foremost, it now is a lifetime warranty shock. Limited, meaning, you know, keep the receipt. It's got to be from the original owner on the bike, kind of thing. It doesn't transfer on, but it also doesn't. We don't want to see it been hit with a hammer or drug down the street. But you got to say these things because you know our lovely consumers. They see the lifetime. They think, oh, okay, I can use it as a baseball bat. When I'm done, I can get a replacement. Yeah, yeah. The other features to this is now, instead of adjusting preload with a spanner wrench, you do it just by rotating the collar, this top collar. And again, the greatest benefit to ride quality improvement is what goes on inside the damper. We call this a monotube. Monotube, simple, I'm sure you all figured it out, is it's only a single tube, not twin tube like that one there. Which means bigger diameter, bigger piston, which means comparing it to an engine. If you bore out an engine, you're going to get better performance. You get better performance because you've got more piston area, surface area to be working with. But you're probably thinking to yourself, well, okay, how do you move the oil now if it's a single tube? We call the piston arrangement within a twin deflective disc technology. Reed valve in a 2-stroke motor comparison. As this compresses and rebounds, those discs, getting back in view there for you, flex open like a reed valve would. So moving oil from one side of the piston to the other. Again, under a gas, nitrogen gas charge pressure, high pressure. So it does that dampening and rebounding a little bit better than the 412 does. Well, we've got it. You notice there's something visually different, also not only being a bigger diameter damper, but no longer a welded eyelet on the ends. It's a one smooth piece, allowing us to chrome the entire unit, which is kind of cool. Again, we were talking on the 418 earlier, you know, that's a machined billet aluminum shock. Chrome is king. So again, the consumer by default shifted over to this series versus that billet aluminum desire they had a few years back. This threaded damper, that's how we get the hand adjustable preload. Notice how much available thread is there. That's how much you can preload the spring, which is a wide range of adjustability. These 4 larger gapped lines here are reference marks. A lot of times a consumer or dealer will ask, well, how do I know how many turns I have? Because you want to keep the same number of turns on each side. So visually, now the consumer can see if there's about 12 turns from this end to that end, from least compression to the highest compression of the spring, each one of those lines that's exposed is the equivalent of about 3 turns. So again, visually now they can see, oh, if I got 3 lines visible, that means I only have 3 turns in this one. They can do the same on the other one. So it's just a reference point. 440 is our top of the line. That's the best. It, you notice it looks back more to the original look, or a 412 look, a conventional look, I guess I should call it, because this series of shock really isn't about the look, it's about the ride quality. Obviously, look is important. Again, chrome is king. It's offered in black and chrome and what have you, but what we're really after is that long distance riding comfort. For your customers that do that, you know, the baggers in particular, because that's what they're built for and intended to be used for. Very popular shock. Our best-selling shock is for the baggers. Not only because obviously the baggers are Harley's best-selling bike, but it just affords the best ride. And it helps get away from the air, so there's a no muss, no fuss, a set it and forget it feature with it. It also is a lifetime warranty shock. It also has the hand adjustable preload with the threaded collar on top, also about 12 turns into it. Also a mono tube, but again, the magic, if you want to call it that, happens inside the damper. Unlike the 412 or the 430 that we've talked about, they have limits to how much oil they can move. And when they reach that limit, whether it's the end of the stroke or just such a severe impact, the fluid can no longer move, and when that happens, you get a hydraulic lock, and you get kind of a momentary strut like, whoops, that hurt in my back, especially if you got a passenger. The 440 series, it's almost as if it likes to be abused, so the more abuse of road condition you throw at it, the better it rides. And the way it accomplishes that is still have the piston on the end of the rod, but instead of that twin tube or a twin deflective disc to move the oil, we have a inertia ring. That's why it's called the IAS valve. It's proprietary to Progressive, available only in this series damper, only through Progressive. And I like to, the analogy is, a comparison for this, to describe it as, envision a valve in a cylinder head, a spring-loaded valve. So you put a cam, a high-performance cam in the engine, right? So you get more lift at the cam, you get more output.